Today, we are talking about career advancement strategies that actually work. If you're feeling stuck or ready for your next big move in your career, you're in the right place. Last week, we talked about negotiating a better salary. Today, we're talking about career advancement. So, picture this this is a very similar story to my friend Jane that we talked about in negotiating a raise. This is Sandy, who is looking for career advancement. She was also a very talented professional who felt stuck in her career. Every day, she watched other people getting different jobs, getting different roles, earning more money. And she realized that career advancement wasn't about working harder. It was when she realized that she started mapping out potential growth paths and identify exactly what decision makers and what leaders she could reach out to that would help her with her strategic plan. She started volunteering for visible projects and building relationships across departments, and people started noticing her contribution. It's not just enough to do great work, do hard work, and be invaluable. It has to be noticed. Hi, I'm Stephanie, her money coach, and we are talking about the GROW framework, which is your roadmap to financial freedom. G for generate income, R for reduce expenses, O for optimize investments, and W for building your wealth. Last week, we talked about generating income by asking for a raise. Today, we're talking about generating income by advancing your career, whether that mean getting promoted or moving on to an entirely different job in an entirely different role, or maybe even an entirely different company. There's basically two paths for career advancements. There's path one, which is strategic promotion or role expansion. That is one way to advance your career and make more money. The second way is for a career move. And we'll talk about both these ways. So let's say you tried to negotiate a raise and maybe that didn't work because of the limitations of your role. Then you might move to this next phase, which is how do I position myself for internal advancement? Let's say you like your company, you like your team, you don't want to leave, but you want to earn more money and you're not going to get more through negotiating a raise. So you need to look at advancement opportunities. If you're going to get crystal clear on where you want to go, you're going to want to study your organization structure. Identify roles that are maybe one or two levels above you that you're interested in, and look for departments that are experiencing growth. And watch as people are moving around and see where you might be able to fit next. Pay attention to things like company-wide emails, team announcements, quarterly objectives, things where you can tell where the company's focused on. And then we want to keep those things in mind and assess your skills. You don't have to wait for permission from anybody to develop your skills. If you've identified a role that's a couple steps above you, look at the skills required for that, look at your skills, see the gaps, and then go about filling those gaps, learning, getting more leadership skills. Look for projects that can help you develop those skills. It's all about finding projects that can help you demonstrate that you're at that next level. Just like in negotiating a raise, you need to build a body of evidence that shows and demonstrates that you have the skills for that next advancement. A promotion is usually not about being good at your current job and though they're just going to promote you. It's about demonstrating you're already solving those problems at that next level. And let me share a personal story here. So, after decades of being in technical product development, I hit a moment many of you might recognize where I knew I was just ready to move on to something different. I had been in my current role for 7 years and I didn't want to move on because I was unhappy at all. But I just wanted more growth, bigger opportunities, do something different. So here's what I did differently than what most people do. Instead of just applying for new jobs, I took inventory of my strengths beyond the technical skills and realized that I have very strong leadership abilities, natural project management instincts, and a lot of these soft skills that were very transferable. At the same time, I spotted a trend in our company. Major data initiatives were ramping up. This wasn't just another project. This was a strategic direction. So I started having very intentional conversations with my mentors and leadership about wanting to transition from product to project and be involved in these data projects. These were a mixture of casual conversations with my leadership, and I set meetings up once a month to talk about my career, what's going on in the ecosystem, and what might be a good fit. Now, here's the part that most people don't want to talk about. It doesn't happen overnight. It took a year and a half for me to land in a place that I wanted and they wanted. And actually, during this time, this year and a half, I even interviewed for this role that I wanted and I didn't get it because the salary wasn't aligned. But I didn't take that personally. I didn't get mad. I didn't give up. I just kept plugging right along, kept having the conversations, and kept going. And I didn't take it as rejection. I just took it as information. And that is key in this process. The lesson here is less about patience and more about persistence. So every no is just information to get you to your yes. And I wasn't waiting. I was building my case, building my skills, and showing my value. That's an example about what a strategic career move could look like. They're rarely dramatic jumps. They're about intentional positioning, gathering information, and being ready when an opportunity aligns with your skills, your experience, your salary. Just like I talked about with negotiating a raise, you must focus on outcomes, not job titles, not activities, not tasks. You must demonstrate that you solve universal business problems. Here's why I want to break down how my approach worked, how that finally worked for me is one, I identified the trends in my current company. I understood company direction and I was able to spot future opportunity. I did a skills inventory. I looked at, okay, I have this technical foundation that can transfer from working in software all these decades to data. I have demonstrated leadership capabilities. Even though I was in a product role, much of that involves project management. And I was able to transfer those skills to talk about project management. And then building relationships, developing any skills that are in the gap, and consistently, like I said in the episode on negotiating a raise, you have to be, as Cal Newport says, so good they can't ignore you. And that is from his book titled So Good They Can't Ignore You. Great book. I talk about it when talking about asking for a raise. And the reason that this book is so great is because it talks about adding value. If you have invaluable skills, you become invaluable. Notice sometimes a big strategic career move isn't up. It can be sideways. It can be going into a whole different industry. It doesn't have to just be always about stepping up. Okay, so here are the four types of strategic moves that we talked about. We talked about an internal, I'll call it transfer. And that's when you're moving within your company, but into a new department or a new role. Reasons you might want to do internal transfer is because you can leverage your existing relationships. That's what I wanted to do. You can keep your benefits. Maybe you're on a vesting schedule, so you don't want to leave the company. You can access opportunities that aren't even publicly noticed yet. You could also sometimes access opportunities before they're publicly posted. And you can use your internal knowledge as your advantage. It truly does help. Companies tend to spend 60% less to hire internally. So this can be leverage for you, or just knowing that fact can help. Now, you might not want to stay with your company. And that's where we talk about doing an industry pivot. So let's say here, you're going to move to a new company in the same industry. You're going to be able to leverage your deep industry knowledge. You're going to command higher compensation because you have experience in that knowledge, and you're going to bring competitive insights because you've worked for the competitors. This will also expand your professional network. The trick here is your industry expertise is worth more to competitors than your current employer, oftentimes by 20 to 30%. The third strategic career move you might want to do is role evolution. So you're changing your role while using your transferable skills. This could be like what I talked about, going from product manager to a project manager, going from an engineer to a sales engineer, going from marketing to product marketing, operations to strategy. It could look any way that you're going to basically take your current skills and evolve into some other role in your company or outside of your company. And then the fourth career move strategy is complete reinvention. You are moving into a new industry, a new role, something completely different. And here, just like with the other strategies, you're going to want to identify overlapping skills. You're going to want to be able to translate your prior achievements into this new context. And you're going to want to build a compelling transition story. And now, complete reinvention can be challenging, but it's definitely doable, exciting, and fun. The thing to remember here is the best time to look for a new role is when you don't need one. So this gives you maximum negotiation power, and truly you can bring your top confidence into these conversations. Because the truth is, the strongest negotiating position comes from being currently employed, having multiple opportunities at play, knowing your exact value, which I talk about in benchmarking your worth. And you can go back to that video and watch exactly how to do that. So, strategic career move isn't just about a bigger paycheck, it's about positioning yourself for long term growth and opportunity. So, take the time to evaluate all the four options and choose a path that aligns best for you. If we want to get really practical into how a 90-day approach might look, let's say you've decided you want to change roles. You want to earn more money through a career move. So the first 30 days, you're going to audit your current skills. You're going to research your target roles. You're going to identify key relationships. You're going to go back and benchmark your worth. You're going to do real research to collect information about how much your skills and experience are worth in the marketplace. Then the next month, day 31 to 60, you're going to start to have strategic conversations. You're going to take on more visible projects. You're going to build your success portfolio. This is the evidence that you're going to have to demonstrate that you've done the required skills. Then day 61 to 90, you're going to expand your network. You're going to develop skills wherever there was a gap, and you're going to position yourself for opportunities. So career advancement isn't about perfect timing. It's about positioning yourself, being persistent, and choosing to where you want to go and following that path. Your success is going to come from having a clear direction, building those relationships, consistently demonstrating value, and being persistent. I'm going to call it patient persistence. Your very next action is to choose one thing that we talked about today from the video and implement it this week. Start small, but start now. If this resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Head over to hermoneycoach.com for more strategies delivered straight to your inbox. Please subscribe and hit the notifications bell to catch our next episode, where we will dive into more ways to generate income. See you next time. And remember, you have the power to change your financial future. And I'm here cheering you on every step of the way.